Welcome to Aaron's Neighborhood. Please support us by giving us a like or by subscribing.
Most of the time, and the animals definitely will be, and unfortunately I can't stop for every single animal that we see, but please hold on really tight to those devices. It gets kind of bumpy out there and we can't stop and pick up anything that falls out of the vehicle. Since it is so bumpy, we ask that you guys remain seated for the entire safari. Even when sitting completely still, these animals are wild and free roaming. We don't want anyone getting hurt. Same thing goes for small children sitting on your laps. Please don't hold them up or stand them up at any point during the safari. Please also refrain from calling or making loud noises at the animals. We don't want to disturb them or scare them away. We have now entered the reserve to the Little Aturi Forest. Many animals in the forest tend to be pretty reclusive, means they spend a lot of time hiding. But over to the right, you'll see an okapi, often thought to be related to the zebra because of those striped legs, but they're actually the closest living relative of the giraffe. Just like the giraffe, they have a very long prehensile tongue. Prehensile means finger-like. It helps them to grab onto the vegetation that they like to eat. Those tongues are actually so long, they can lick their own eyeballs with them. The striped legs that you see are actually camouflage for them. They mimic sunlight filtering through the leaves or branches of the brush that they spend most of their days hiding in. Many other animals of the forest have similar forms of camouflage just to give them a bit of an extra edge in here, since they do spend so much time hiding. Alright, now be on the lookout for any movement, anything going on. That will be the best way to find animals on today's safari. I do see some movement up on this hill. I'm going to go really slow. Everybody look kind of up ahead of us. There's a black rhino walking around up there. It's headed right toward us right now. Black rhinos are large herbivores, which means that they only eat vegetation, and they have a pointed prehensile lip to help them out with that. Get up to about 3,000 pounds, but they're pretty territorial, and because of that, they spend most of their time alone. The hairs on their head are made of keratin, same thing that your hair and nails are made out of, but they are still poached for them, and there are actually less than 5,000 of those black rhinos remaining today. Over here on the left, lining this hill actually, looks like there's some bongo. Those rusty colored antelope, often called the ghost of the forest because they are so very rarely seen. Now those horns that you see are pointed backwards, and both male and female have them. They're pointed backwards to help them navigate through the thick brush, keeps them from getting caught in it. They would if they were sticking straight up off of their heads. Many animals in the forest have been hit really hard by habitat loss, largely from deforestation. So one super simple way to help them out is just use paper products responsibly and make sure that you recycle that paper whenever you do use it. Those bonds have been hit especially hard. It's estimated there are about 100 left in their native range of Africa. We've left the forest. We're headed down to the Safi River now. A lot of animals at the river spend most of their time in the water, and a lot of their time in the water will be spent underneath the surface. Many of the animals here can hold their breath for extended periods of time, minutes, or even hours in some cases. So look for bubbles, ripples, or waves could indicate an animal's below the surface. We can't quite see it yet. Now over here to the left, looks like we got some pink-backed pelicans. These large birds hanging out on the island. They're a smaller species of pelican. That wingspan though is still about 7 to 9 feet. They get their name because they do get that light pink color on their back and under their wings.
Yeah.
That's a bird.
Yes.
Birds.
Good job.
Now they're colonial nesters, so during the mating season, these pelicans will actually gather in groups of about 200 to 500 pairs on their nesting ground.
Yeah.
Alright, we are going to keep on moving. You can just actually barely see the head of a hippo sticking out over there in some of that water. Just over the edge. You can maybe catch a glimpse of its nose over there. So hippos are also large herbivores. Adult males can reach 5,500 pounds at their largest. Spend most of their day in the water, submerged up to 8 minutes at a time, but come out on the banks in the evenings to feed. Over on the left, looks like we got some Nile crocodiles. These large African predators average about 500 pounds and 16 feet long. They can live up to 40 years. Now, a good way to tell the difference between crocodile and alligator is that crocodiles have a very toothy grin. Even with their mouths closed, you can still see some of their teeth sticking out. But alligators, you generally cannot. The tip of a crocodile snout also tends to be a little more narrow, while the tip of an alligator snout is a lot wider. Their normal diet consists of things like fish and other smaller aquatic animals, but they've been known to take down larger prey, sometimes things like zebra or even other crocodiles. Now, if they eat a meal that large and resources are scarce, they can actually go a few more months without eating anything at all. We have left the river. We're headed to the savannah now. And as often go by the nickname the upside down tree, which they get because they look like that about 9 months out of the year. They drop their leaves in an effort to help them conserve water, but it makes it look like their roots are what's sticking up in the air. They can also store tons of water in their huge trunks. These strategies allow them to live a lot longer than other tree species. They can actually live into the thousands of years. And here we are on the savanna. Looks like up ahead we got a couple of things going on the right-hand side. There is a tower of Maasai giraffe over there. But before we get there, there are some Patterson's eland, these really large tan antelope to the right-hand side. They're the tallest species of antelope on the reserve, can stand about 6 feet tall at the shoulder. About 50% of this species currently live on protected lands, which is really good news for them because at least for that 50%, they're relatively well protected from things like habitat loss and destruction or poaching for the bushmeat trade that would threaten the numbers of those populations directly. And on the right, of course, those Maasai giraffe, including a baby Maasai giraffe just up ahead. I can tell they're Maasai because of their spots. They look kind of jagged, almost like someone colored outside the lines. And on the left, we got a pack of African wild dogs, also called painted dogs because those markings look almost like they're painted on. They are in the same family as your dogs back home, the family Canidae, but they are very different than those dogs. One of the most successful hunters on the savanna. Please have children seated, friends, the entire time. Please have children seated. Do not hold them up. Thank you. They can run very fast for very long. In chase, they're afraid of exhaustion. Most other predators can only run that fast for very short sprints. And here we got those Maasai giraffe, and to the left behind them some sable antelope, which are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Male coats continue to darken as they grow with age, and dominance can go from a chestnut brown to an almost jet black. Now these giraffes get up to about 20 feet tall, and babies are usually about 6 feet tall, can stand and walk within the first hour of birth. This allows them to help keep up with the tower, which is what a group of giraffes is called, to avoid predators and things like that. They do eat most of the day. They only sleep about 30 minutes to an hour and a half each day, and most of that is actually done standing up with their eyes open. Do that in an effort to avoid predators because, of course, everything out here is about survival. They're much more susceptible when they're laying down. It leaves their neck very exposed and close to the ground, so they just prefer to stand whenever possible. They also usually sleep just a few seconds or minutes at a time and let it add up throughout the day as they go along. Their tongues are very well adapted to their eating habits, about 18 inches or a foot and a half long, which is about the same as your forearm. They're also a very dark blue or purple, almost black, to help keep them protected from the sun, keep them from getting sunburnt, because that is how much time most tongues spend outside of their mouths eating each day. They do have the highest blood pressure of any mammal, so it has to get all the way up there next to their brains, and also a very large heart to help them out with that. It's about 2 feet long, can weigh up to about 26 pounds. It does get really hot out here, and there's not a lot of shade like in the forest or a river to cool off in, like down by the Safi River. So animals here have developed adaptations, either physical or behavioral, to try and deal with some of that. As we see some of those adaptations, I'll point them out to you guys. And there is one of those animals to our right-hand side right now. These are Collie cattle, also called Watusi, after the name of the peoples that first domesticated them, and they are the only domestic species on the reserve. Those horns get about 3 or 4 feet on either side, are like their own personal air conditioner. Hot blood circulates up into the honeycomb structure of the horns and is filled with cartilage and blood vessels. The blood cools off up there and then circulates back into their body and cools off their whole entire body temperature. Also been passing a lot of termite mounds out here, passing a few on the left-hand side right now. Another important ecosystem feature made of dirt, dung, and saliva. Then they bake harder than concrete in the sun. Animals can come along and use them. Now over to the left, there's a herd of white-bearded wildebeest that you can see out on that hill. They are the right, excuse me, not the left. They are the second most densely packed mammal in the world. They're second only to humans. During the migration season, up to 1.5 million of them can gather to travel up to 1,000 miles looking for fresh food and water. Their babies stand and run within 15 minutes of being born. That helps them to keep up with the herd to avoid predators. You can see some of them over this hill as well over there. Now they get their name from the Afrikaans word that means wild beast, and Afrikaans is the Dutch language of the South African settlers. But they're pretty docile unless provoked. The name just comes because those white beards make them look kind of crazy. Alright, we're going to keep going, see if we can find anything else out here today. Right now through here we want to be on the lookout for any movement. things like that can indicate where an animal is. It's the best way to find them. Over to the left, sitting on that gray rock, actually, just under all of these trees, there's a mantle monkey. The largest species of monkey. Adult males reach about 100 pounds. Females usually stay around 30 pounds, though. Most will know because the males do have that bright red and blue color on their faces. It gets brighter as they get more and more excited. Over on the right, there's some African elephants. It looks like there's two. Now, both male and female have the ivory tusks on their faces, but these are likely males because they look to be mostly alone, go off on their own after a long childhood of 13 to 15 years and live solitary or form loose groups to hang out in. The females don't stay together in the same herd their entire lives. Even when a female calf is born into a herd, generally she never leaves. You can see some of those elephants over here. Now, I was actually going to take this road, try and find us some more animals, maybe even some more elephants, but it looks like it's closed, got washed out by all the rain. I don't think I can jump that gap. What do you guys think?
No. Go on, give it a go.
Give it a go. This baby goes about 8 miles an hour and we have like 36 people in it, so I'm not quite as confident as you are, but I'm glad that you're confident in my driving abilities. There is this bridge up ahead though. Now it's kind of old and rickety. They were supposed to be fixing it a while ago, but you know how that goes. Last I checked, it was held together by some rope, duct tape, and a little bit of Gorilla Glue. But we're going to give it a go because I think we got a better shot with this bridge than we did with that gap. So we are going to go poly. That means very slowly. Everybody hang on tight. Keep your fingers crossed. Almost there. And front tire pop. We got something happen now. Gotcha. Woo! Okay, guys, we made it. It's not that I was super concerned or anything, but I am pretty sure we're safe now, although I'm not going to make any promises to you. We're headed towards the red clay pit. It's a good indicator of elephant activity because they eat it to make up for minerals missing in their diet. Just like we take vitamins. Actually, over on the right, there are some tusk marks in the clay, and on the left, there are some elephant footprints. I'm going to keep moving and see if maybe we can find some more of them today. African elephants form a matriarchal society led by the oldest female. She has valuable knowledge of food and water resources imperative to the survival of their herd. Again, females stay together and the males leave, and they don't have many natural predators. Humans are their main predator. Often posed for their ivory tusks, it's a real hot commodity on the black market, and many elephants lose their lives each year to the illegal ivory trade. They've also been hit really hard by habitat loss, and as there's less space for them, they wander onto farms and eat the crops. Farmers kill them in an effort to protect their livelihoods. And if you look over to the left, you'll see some more of those elephants, and there's also a baby elephant with them. So these must be females since they have the young with them, and there are a lot more of them. Also to the right, you'll see some more of those white-bearded wildebeest a little bit closer. Now to keep themselves cool, elephants flap their ears. They have blood vessels right near the surface, and it can make a difference of 15 degrees in their whole body temperature. Now I mentioned how they're often killed because they wander onto the farms, but there was actually a group of Disney researchers that found out they're afraid of bees. So they started building beehive fences around farms in Africa. The elephants run from even the sound of bees. They won't go anywhere near them. They get to keep their lives. The farmers get to keep their crops get pollinated. They can jar and sell the honey, and it helps out pollinators and other struggling group of animals. Many species of bee are actually endangered, so it's a way to keep everybody comes away happy without the food. Over on the left, you can see that baby elephant once again. You can also see that they have some dirt on their backs. They do have very sensitive skin, so they throw dirt, mud, sand, whatever they can on themselves to keep them protected from the sun. It's like their own form of sunscreen. And to the left, looks like we got a flamboyant greater flamingo. They're the largest and the lightest color of all flamingo species. They're actually born gray and turn that light pink after about a year or two. It's because it comes from their diet. They eat a lot of brine shrimp that are really high in beta-carotene. That's what turns them pink. It just takes a little bit for it to happen. So now you may also see some of them standing on one leg. Flamingos are notorious for that, but it's not really known why. Some people think it has to do with controlling their body temperature or blood flow, but there's no definitive answer for that just yet. It is still largely up for debate. Over to the left, there's a really large mud wallow. Over there in that red mud. Wallows like this are created and used by rhinos. That's how they keep themselves cool. Roll around in it when they get overheated to cool themselves off, and it also helps to protect their skin some, as it can get sensitive at times as well. Actually, over on the right, there's a couple of things going on. Walking toward us is a gray zebra, probably part of a dazzle. Contrary to popular belief, think they are black with white stripes, not white with black stripes. You can tell because when you shave them down, they have skin patterns that reflect that. Now behind that zebra, you'll see some ostrich, the largest species of bird in the world. They can't fly, but they can run about 40 miles an hour, and they use their large wings to help them steer when they get going that fast. Those legs are very powerful. Both of them actually have very powerful legs. Those zebra can kick a lion hard enough to break its jaw. And at the end of the legs of an ostrich, they have these toes with really long claws so they can kick a human or predator hard enough to kill it. So when those two can't outrun their predators, that's usually a pretty safe bet for them. Alright, now laying over on this hill, I did see some cheetahs, but I'm just going to try and get us a better view where we can all see them a little bit better. They're going to be up on this hill by that pile of logs that's fallen down. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land mammal. They can go 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, but they can't keep it up for very long, so they're opportunistic predators, which means they just grab whatever's easiest at the time. Now, if you look, you have to look right just above that log. You can see the head of the cheetah sticking up. Now, they do have these black stripes that come down from under their eyes. It helps to pull sunlight away from their eyeballs, gives them really good daytime vision, which is something that a lot of other big cats don't really have. Their bodies are really well built and adapted for that life of speed and power. Of course, not endurance, but they're very slender. And also, those tails are super long and muscular that allows them to keep their balance and turn on a dime when they reach those top speeds. Coming up on a large rock formation called a copy, often used by large predators like lions as a vantage point to survey territories and look for prey. And if you look up on the second tallest rock of the copy up there, you'll see a female lioness lying down. Now, lions are nocturnal predators. They sleep about 20 hours a day, wake up only at nighttime to hunt because their vision is about 6 times better than ours is at nighttime. It is much better. The female lioness do the vast majority of the hunting. The males do sometimes help out when they feel like it, but it's pretty rare. They usually stay back and guard the territory. The females hunt cooperatively within their pride, which means that multiple members work together to bring down prey. Also have ears that rotate like satellite dishes to pinpoint sounds, and padded paws to give them a silent approach. But even with all these adaptations, still only about 1 in 15 hunts are successful for them. Over to the right, you can see those ostrich and also some more grand zebra over there. Now, each different zebra actually has its different striping patterns, so you can tell them apart that way. The stripes are camouflage. When a predator comes along, it gets really difficult to pick at an individual and just allows them to escape a little bit easier. Over to the left, we'll see that female lioness once again. Now, their tongues resemble the tongues of your cats back home with that sandpapery feel, but these guys take it to the extreme, so rough they can actually look neat, hang off the bones. There's another female lioness laying up on the very top, and a male lion laying down on the back of that copy. Now, often while hunting and doing other things, they communicate to keep track of each other with a series of roars that can actually be heard for up to 5 miles away. Here on the left, looks like we got some warthogs. Seeing one of them over here, 2 of them over here right now walking around. Now, they're in the same family as domestic pigs, but they are a burrowing species. They either dig out their own burrows or use ones left behind by other animals. Their tusks are razor sharp, so at nighttime they back into their burrows with them facing out as a first line of defense in case any predators approach at nighttime. They also roll around in the mud to help keep themselves cool. They can run about 35 miles an hour. See some more of those ostrich here, and also to the right, there are some ostrich eggs just off the road under this tree. They weigh about 3 pounds each, roughly the same as 2 dozen chicken eggs. A grown adult weighing 250 pounds can stand on a single ostrich egg and it will not break. They have very thick shells and are really tough, built to last. Also to the right, looks like you got some water buck over here. Like the name suggests, they drink a lot of water, more than most other antelope species do. So they tend to stick really close to a water source, and that means that they don't really migrate. Sets them apart from the vast majority of other animal species, as they do tend to migrate. Now, they do look kind of wet. They probably are right now because it rains, but they do have very greasy, wet-looking fur. Their skin emits this grease onto the fur. And it's not 100% known why it does that, but a lot of people think that it's for waterproofing since they spend so much time around the water. And we have entered the Magadi Glen. Similar to many animals in the forest, a lot of animals in the glen are pretty shy and reclusive, spend most of their days hiding, so we want to be on the lookout for them here. Over to the right, there are 2 large black and white birds standing over here. These are yellow-billed storks, a carnivorous species. They eat